This is Joe Blasco, and I have another product that I'd like to show you. This is called a celebrity puff. Now, what makes this puff so special? Well, firstly, it's very finely textured, all right? Very finely textured. And it's made of the finest, highest quality velour. And why is it important for it to be finely textured? Well, so when you apply your powder, it goes on very evenly. Now, how do you apply a powder to a powder puff? And why do you use a powder puff? Because you see everybody's using a brush these days, right? Well, you know, when you do a makeup that's a very intricate makeup, and you have a lot of highlighting and a lot of shading, and there's a lot of detail work that you've done in your makeup, if you take a brush and you dip it in powder and you rub it all over everything, what it does is it can mess up all of that work that you've done, all right? What you want to do professionally would be to set what you've done, to set the highlighting, to set the shading, to set the cheek color, all right? And to set the blue neutralizer or the red neutralizers that you've used to really create a perfect complexion, all right? And how do you do that? Your first powder application should be done with a powder puff. And what you do is you sprinkle the powder on the top of the puff, or if you have like one of our powder containers, the larger professional powder containers, that's loose powder, you simply press it down into it and you get the powder on the surface of the puff. You fold the puff in half and you roll the puff like this so that you work the puff full of powder, all right? That's called loading the puff, all right? Loading the puff. It's an old term, an old makeup artistry term that dates way back. Now, is that when you stop? No, there's one more thing you have to do. After you've put the powder on the puff and you've loaded the puff like so, you then take your thumb, just like that, or both thumbs, and you smooth it over and you work it into the powder puff. And then you take the powder puff, fold it in half, put your finger like so, and you make it so that you have a flat surface right here. This is the part that you're applying powder with, all right? And you press the powder on, okay? You do not wipe the powder on or stroke the powder on, but you press and you roll. You press and you roll, all right? And when you do this, you are applying the powder and it stabilizes your makeup, all right? And it will set your makeup and it'll last all day. Now, after you've completely stabilized and set everything, the neck and all right? Then you can take your brush. Take your brush, dip it into the powder, kind of flick a little bit of it off. Don't blow on it, especially if you're working on someone. If you're a makeup artist, you don't want to blow on your brush. That's kind of, you're putting germs on it in this day and age. You know, that's kind of a no-no. All right, so just kind of flick the powder off, and not into the floor, but into a little trash can or onto a tissue. Then you can work it and apply the powder in loose form just to finish it off beautifully. You know, sometimes you can take and you can use my no color powder. Now, what is that? No color powder has no pigment in it. So your first application could be, especially where you've highlighted, an application of no color powder just to set it, because the no color powder will not add pigment to your foundation. It will not change the color of your foundation unless you're extremely dark. Then it'll add a gray cast to it, and that's an entirely another tape, which I will have on this website, and you will see it. But that's how you apply the powder, all right? You stabilize it, you press it with a powder puff, and bingo, you've got it. Now, it's called the Celebrity Puff. You'll find it right here at joeblasco.com.